So my journey to the theater is a bit odd, I think, in that I never saw a play till I was in college, senior in college, actually. It just wasn't something I was aware of. Weirdly, I was really into film, I was really into the arts, but theater has never crossed my path really. And then my senior year of university, I was taking all the writing courses in the school, short story classes, screenwriting, stuff like that. And I just took an intro to playwriting on sort of a lark. And pretty quickly, like my teacher pulled me aside and was like, who are you? Because I wasn't a theater major. She didn't know who I was. He was like, you're good at this. You should consider this. And I really didn't know what to do with that even because I liked writing, but I never thought about theater because I didn't know anything about theater. Also, like it was so foreign to me. But pretty quickly, I got really into it. So I switched majors and I stayed an extra year at university to do a theater degree with an emphasis in playwriting. And then after that, I went to grad school. So like I was late coming to it, but it's often made me feel a little bit like an outsider in the theater world because like I definitely didn't grow up, going to plays. I wasn't in musicals when I was younger at all. But there's something about it that just struck me, and writing specifically for the theater versus other types of writing, it's just something that speaks to me, and I almost can't explain it. But like I adore working in theater and working as a playwright in theater. I love going to rehearsal and being in the room and discovering stuff. And even though I value other types of writing, playwriting and being the playwright in the room is like my most moved me in a certain way, and I love discovering. So I was thinking about this the other day. I remember, I guess I never got into theater because I thought plays were a certain thing, and maybe they're sort of like a little boring or sort of musical type stuff. And then I remember being in the library at UT Santa Barbara where I went to school, and I was reading Sam Shepard's Buried Child, and I was like, oh, whoa, this is like, I didn't know theater was like this. This is crazy. This person's holding this leg and like keeping it. And there was something else about the language that Shepard used I really, really connected with. And so that's why the first time where I was like, oh, I could actually see myself in the sort of stories I like to write in theater. So that was a huge discovery for me. I generally begin a project, I'll be reading an article or a book, and then something will sort of catch my eye, and then it'll be like, oh, that one little fact in this big story or big topic will sort of have something about it where it's like, oh, I think there's something there that I can actually work with. So like, for example, I wanted to write a piece about the drug wars. This is, years ago now, but the drug wars, the US-Mexico drug wars. And so I was doing all this research, and, I love all the research, but I don't really have an in yet. And then I read about this woman who was a police chief in Mexico and the only one who would take the job after the last police chief was beheaded. Her story sort of hooked in. It's actually, there's not a lot on her out there, but like that little hook got me. And I was like, oh, okay, I have something there. So I keep researching and researching. But as I'm researching now, I sort of have an idea of a character. I have an idea of some sort of storyline. So I always start with research. And then often if I get lost in a project, I go back to research. I just feel like it feeds me in a way where I like, and I don't actually even use technically the research all the time. It's in the piece. I kind of assume it's inherent in my knowledge about the topic at a certain point. I just write with it. Well, sometimes I'll go back and check like a fact or something if it's a more historical piece. But yeah, it's always with research, and then throughout the process, I'm constantly returning and being like, I need to read some more before I continue this because I'm going to. And then after that, really the exciting part is just, get together a director and some actors, usually before a play is finished, and I'll set up a table read, just have them come in, and it's sort of like a deadline for me, but also like the discussion after the play is really what it is. And I feel like I'm writing and I can feel that it's right. I feel that something in there is valid, but I don't really know what the play is or what it's about or how it functions yet. And then once I'm in the room with actors and a director or choreographer, whatever it is, I'm like, oh, okay. Now that I'm hearing them discuss it, I can sort of understand it myself. So that's generally how the process, for the most part, goes.